Ever wondered how blood cells are formed in our body? Let's introduce you to hematopoiesis, the ingenious process that generates our blood cells. It's a fascinating system that, on an average day, creates 200 billion red blood cells, 10 billion white blood cells, and 400 billion platelets in an adult body. All these cells originate from a single source, a multipotent hematopoietic stem cell. From red to white blood cells to platelets, hematopoiesis is the grand architect. So let's dive into this fascinating process. It all starts with a special kind of cell called the hematopoietic stem cell. These cells, often abbreviated as HSCs, hold the remarkable ability to self-replicate. This means they can make copies of themselves, ensuring a continuous supply. But their abilities don't stop there. HSCs are also multipotent, a fancy term that means they have the potential to mature and differentiate into different types of blood cells and lymphocytes. So whether your body needs red blood cells to carry oxygen, white blood cells to fight off infection, or platelets to help with blood clotting, it's the versatile HSCs that step up to the plate. Their location too is rather interesting, as they reside in what's called an island of hematopoietic tissue found in the bone marrow. So, in essence, these HSCs are the building blocks of our blood cells. The journey of hematopoiesis is a migration through various parts of our body. This journey starts before we're even born, during the fetal stage where hematopoiesis occurs in the yolk sac and aortogonad mesonephros, the early sites of blood cell formation. As the embryo develops over 2 to 5 months, hematopoiesis shifts to the thymus, spleen, and liver. This change of location is not haphazard, but a beautifully orchestrated process, ensuring the developing embryo has the necessary blood cells at the right time. But the journey doesn't stop there. As the embryo matures beyond 5 months and into infancy, hematopoiesis finds its permanent home in the bone marrow and lymph nodes. This is where the magic happens in adults. The creation of red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets, all from a single type of cell known as the hematopoietic stem cell. These stem cells are like the heroes of our story. They are self-replicating, meaning they can make more of themselves, and they have the potential to differentiate into any type of blood cell. It's like having a superpower to transform into whatever the body needs at any given time. Inside the bone marrow, there's a special place called the island of hematopoietic tissue. Here, the hematopoietic stem cell develops into a precursor cell or a progenitor cell. Depending on the influences of various factors, the stem cell differentiates into either the common myeloid progenitor or the common lymphoid progenitor. The common myeloid progenitor has the potential to differentiate into red blood cells, white blood cells, or platelets. On the other hand, the common lymphoid progenitor can differentiate into lymphocytes, a type of white blood cell. The duration required for the formation of a blood cell is equal to the lifespan of that particular blood cell. For instance, red blood cells take 120 days to form, white blood cells take a few hours to a few days, and platelets take 5 to 10 days. This ensures that the blood cells are replenished continuously. Isn't it amazing how these cells travel and mature? Now let's look at how red blood cells, or erythrocytes, are formed. This process, known as erythropoiesis, begins with a common myeloid progenitor. This progenitor, under the influence of specific factors, develops into a proerythroblast. As this proerythroblast matures, it transitions through several stages, each marked by unique characteristics and names. From the proerythroblast, it evolves into a basophilic erythroblast, then a polychromatic erythroblast, followed by an orthochromatic erythroblast. Each stage represents a step towards the final product, a fully matured red blood cell. The transformation continues as the orthochromatic erythroblast becomes a polychromatic erythrocyte, and ultimately an erythrocyte. This final stage, the erythrocyte, is what we commonly refer to as a red blood cell. These cells are crucial for transporting oxygen throughout the body, supporting all our vital functions. And that's how our body produces red blood cells. Next, we'll explore the formation of white blood cells, or leukocytes. This process is known as leukopoiesis. It all begins with a common myeloid progenitor. This cell has the potential to differentiate into a myeloblast, which is the starting point for a variety of leukocytes. Depending on the influence of specific fate-determining factors, the myeloblast can evolve into different types of leukocytes. For instance, it can develop into a basophil promyelocyte, which matures into a basophil, a type of white blood cell that plays a key role in allergic reactions. Alternatively, the myeloblast can differentiate into either a neutrophil promyelocyte or an eosinophil promyelocyte. These cells go through similar developmental stages as the basophil promyelocyte, eventually becoming neutrophils and eosinophils respectively. These white blood cells are crucial in fighting off infections. Furthermore, the myeloblast can also transform into a monoblast, which can then mature into a monocyte, macrophage, or myeloid dendritic cell. This intricate process ensures our body's defense system is always ready. Finally, we'll delve into the formation of platelets. This process, known as thrombopoiesis, starts with the common myeloid progenitor. This progenitor, much like a master cell, has the potential to transform into various types of blood cells. In the case of thrombopoiesis, it metamorphoses into a cell called a megakaryoblast. The megakaryoblast, a precursor to the platelet, then undergoes a series of changes. These changes are influenced by a variety of factors within the body. The megakaryoblast develops into the next stage, the promegakaryocyte, which further matures into a megakaryocyte. The megakaryocyte is a large cell filled with DNA. In the final stage of thrombopoiesis, this megakaryocyte shatters into thousands of fragments. Each of these fragments is a platelet or a thrombocyte, ready to play its crucial role in blood clotting and wound healing. So, that's how our body constantly replenishes our platelets. To sum up, hematopoiesis is a complex yet fascinating process. It's an intricate dance where hematopoietic stem cells transform into billions of red and white blood cells, along with platelets, each day. From the fetal stage to adulthood, these cells are formed in various locations, ultimately settling in our bone marrow. Through erythropoiesis, leukopoiesis, and thrombopoiesis, we see the birth of red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets, respectively. Next time you see a drop of blood, remember the incredible journey it's been through.